Hello everyone, welcome to another sourcing video from JFX. All right, on today's videos, we're going to be talking about breaker blocks and how to trade them ICT way. I want to take out this time, first of all, to appreciate the constant viewers and the returning subscribers. I really appreciate your time, your support, and those of you who have been sending me compliments on Telegram. I really appreciate, the words of encouragement and also promise to give you all sorts of videos, to pass on valuable knowledge and the right way. So thank you all. And if you're a new subscriber or you're a new viewer, please hit the like button below and subscribe on this video. And you could as well check us on Telegram, which the link is on the description below, where I post sources setups, for the higher time frame during the weeks. All right, with that being said, welcome to another source video from JFX. Okay, so on today's video, we're going to be talking about breaker blocks and basically reclaimed order block, because the breaker block are reclaimed order block. Don't get yourself confused. These order blocks which actually failed, they were kind of like disrespected. Then price, moved against the trend, which they are supposed to, and then returns back into the direction of the breaker block, or we could say the order block, and then we claim them. So they're called the breaker block because they're the order blocks. I think it was named after the order block before the break of structure, So this stuff was actually generated by ICT. He literally introduced them into the market. He's a genius, And these are order blocks, okay? So if you're trying to pick a breaker block, you should understand that these are reclaimed order blocks. So I don't get yourself confused that reclaimed order blocks are separate or they're different from a proper or a normal order block. All right, so with that being said, I would get on the charts. But before that, let me give you guys the template for an order block, all right? So you all know another block is like this. Okay, so if you're looking for a breaker block is like a reclaimed order block which failed to hold. So this is the failure to hold, right? So reclaiming the order block would be price moving into this and then going back down. So this is like a reclaimed order block, which is also known as an order block. If anyone is telling you they're separate or they're different stuffs, that's a lie. They're all the same thing, right? So with that being said, this is a template for a breaker block and how to trade them. So to be able to give you guys the sausage truth and how to really trade this stuff, trust me, at the end of this video, it's going to blow your mind because I found out I did some digging into ICT because, if I would want to teach you guys something which he generated, I probably would go back and, do some research about it, then bring out the sources of the video and then share it with you guys. So I found out that this stuff has actually been traded the wrong way. This has actually been traded the wrong way. And a lot of people have a wrong concept of another block and a breaker block, right? So I'm just going to give a little insight on that before we get back on the chat, right? So like you have been told by probably Phantom or which other mentor out there that a breaker block, another block is like the bullish candle before a bearish momentum or the bearish candle before the bullish momentum. But then this stuff was introduced by ICT. Yeah, he literally introduced this stuff into the market. Like ICT would introduce the breaker block and the other block. And then I heard him say this. Another block is not the bearish candle before the bullish momentum or the bullish candle before the bearish momentum. That's practically why your other blocks still fail. That's not the credentials for picking another block. Yes, they are those candles, but that is not why you should pick that as another block. You shouldn't pick this other block because it's a bearish candle before the momentum. No, that's not why I should pick it. If you literally want to pick another block, this is the template for a breaker block, right? So let me show you the one for another block. Okay. All right, so I know it looks similar to, the bullish candle for the bearish momentum, right? But the qualifications why you're picking this other block is because this bearish momentum before the bullish momentum, was the how would I put this? It was the direction of the market, literally before the manipulation was done. So this candle has to be clearing out liquidity for this to be called another block. Now the other block is not found within this, but actually found within this. This from here to here is literally what you're supposed to be calling the other block, not this. All right, so the candle which took out the liquidity before the bearish momentum is what you call the order block, not the candle which the last bearish bullshit or stuff like that, which you learned from Phantom or any of those guys. None of those guys did the taking into ICT because he literally produced this stuff. He made this stuff. So if you're going to be teaching it, why not teach it the way he taught it? So this is actually the real credentials of picking another block. And if you want to pick another block, what you should actually be looking at is the candle which did the manipulation, like an FU candle, all right? But then on the higher time frame, an FU candle mostly is used on the lower time frame, to get an entry, right? So on the higher time frame, it's called a breaker block. Oh, sorry, it's called another block, all right? So if you want to pick another block, it has to be you were looking for an FU candle on the higher time frame. That's literally what another block means. That is what you should be looking for as an order block, all right? So let me give you a live example. This you see right here, this from this spot to this is your order block. It's not a single candle. It's not this guy, all right? It's not this guy. It's not this guy. This candle, which did the manipulation, which cleared out the liquidity, is your order block. And then if price is returning back to test something, it will be testing within this order block, right? It will be testing within this. Either the opening, which has the breaker block within it, right? Always going to be testing the 50% of this order block. You could see this was the breaker block, which was tested, right? So if you're going to be having the credentials or trying to trade a breaker block, you should understand what another block means, all right? So this, yes, is another block, not because it's the bearish candle. Like I told you, a breaker block is a reclaimed order block, right? So it's not a bearish candle before the momentum. It's because it took out liquidity from these lows and then broke structure, but then got disrespected and then price returned to claim it. That is why it's a breaker block, right? Let me repeat that if I'm too fast. A breaker block, this is called a breaker block, not because it's the bearish candle before the bullish momentum, but because it cleared out liquidity and broke structure, was supposed to be respected, but then got invalidated, and price returns to grab that. And now price moved into this and not the other block above here, right? This is the other block, not this, and not this other block, because we had the liquidity, the inducement being built below the breaker block. So if you're going to be picking a breaker block, make sure you're picking one with an inducement below it, and it should be the closest to the inducement. Like if this was literally compressed and we had this a little bit closer, I would have actually picked the other block for price to give the retest for. But then the other block is still kind of like too far because this is GBP related pairs, and you all know how GBP pairs move, right? So this whole candle is your breaker block, and this whole candle is the other block. Now, let me show you something mind-blowing. On the higher time frame, let's say the 4-hour time frame, you would see that as a single candle. You see? So it's another block as a single candle on the higher time frame, right? So let me not insult anyone or say something out of the line. So if any of these guys, I think why they named other block after the bullish momentum, the bullish candle before the bearish momentum, was because they were looking at this from the higher time frame and literally did not do their research into the stuff. Okay, this right here is another block. Yes, it's another block, not because it's a bearish candle before the bullish momentum, but because it's the candle which cleared out the liquidity. Now go to the lower time frame. When you want to pick your other block, this should be your credentials. What do you say? Where did the manipulation come in? This was the highest, right? This candle did the manipulation, right? And this was a retest of this candle. So this becomes the area of focus for price to react from. And you could say price reacted from the breaker block. Why is that? This is the breaker, right? Why did price react from that? Clearly, because you could say the inducement was built below it. That's why you got this reaction. Yes, it's a little bit small, but then this is like 20 to 30 pips, all right? This is like 20 to 30 pips movement. You could see how these are highly respected. This wasn't respected because it was the last bullish candle before the bearish momentum. It was because it was the candle which did the manipulation that cleared out the liquidity into the supply zone, which price is holding from. This is why you got the reactions, and you could see clearly the inducement and the fair value gap below it. So if you are picking your other block the next time, do make sure you don't pick another block because it's a bearish candle before the momentum, but because it cleared out liquidity and then broke structure to follow the trend or maybe a counter trend, but then it should break its structure. You see why this did not hold? Did this clear liquidity? No, this is literally on the resistance. This is literally not holding. You see that? You got stopped out before price moved in your direction, which means this which did the stopping would be the other block because this is liquidity. This is liquidity. Phantom literally taught you to be liquidity, And then once it got stopped out, price did the way, this was the way order block within the week. Yeah, there are two types of order block, one within the week or that on the obvious candle. And if you want to know more about that, do check my video about order blocks below. This is mainly for, breaker blocks. But then when I found this out, I was like, I didn't teach this on the previous video. So I decided to, give a little insight about it. So, you all don't get confused. And then I don't be one of those guys who taught the rubbish stuff. All right. So this was what ICT thought. This was what he said about order blocks, not them being the bearish candle before the bullish momentum. So if your order block is failing, please do some cross checking and try to understand, did they clear out liquidity? If they did not clear out liquidity, you're picking Phantom's order block, all right? But if they do clear out liquidity, you're picking ICT's order block. And I could tell you, ICT stocks are really saucy. They're really, really always saucy. So a lot of people have complained about this video being too long, but then I just brought out this important information to you without you getting to watch all his videos. I did the digging myself, and I did not regret it because I learned so many other stuff too. All right, so maybe I will do a video about all of them, each breaking them down, because this channel simplifies stuff, right? So I'm just going to keep simplifying them till you get the full source and full knowledge of becoming a consistent, profitable trader. All right, so this is the credentials for another block, and if this fails, no need to chase after it. Just, mark it out as your breaker block, and if price close an inducement below it like this, this is an inducing because you could see it's an obvious order block, right? So it did not clear out liquidity. So this is inducing with the traders. And what happens? Price moves back into the breaker block, testing it, and then price went back down. So what are the most important things you should look for when looking for a breaker block? One, you have to have your inducement. Two, your fair value gap should be within the order block. It's called, the buy side, sell side liquidity, something like that. I think it's an ICT term. The buy side, sell side liquidity of the fair value gap, which your order block should be within. Okay, so that is like one of the credentials of picking a breaker block, and then it should be a reclaimed order block as well. Okay, so if you want to pick a breaker block, are you expecting price to react from a breaker block? Do make sure you have price giving you the fair value gap and your liquidity within them, okay? And you could see over here, this was a breaker within this week, right? That was marked wrongly earlier. You could see this, took out liquidity from this previous candle, has the fair value gap within them. Okay, you could see the fair value gap over there, and then one which is a buy sell side liquidity, right? So this is like the liquidity inducement, and price will act from that to come back down. And another important thing you should know, the breaker mitigation is always an inducement for the order block. All right. So if price should return back down, probably after breaking structure, I don't think you should wait for price to react from this, but stopping this out and going back down, because this would be like an inducement for price. So price will clear that out, break structure, return back to mitigate this, and goes back down. Okay, that's it for breakup block, guys. If this video has been saucy to you, I'm trying to make it very fast and easy for you. And if you have any questions, do comment them on the comment section, and I will try to look into them. Or you could join our Telegram section and try to learn from other templates and join, which I do post on a daily basis on the Telegram channel. So if this video has been saucy to you, please hit the subscribe button. And if you have a request video you want us to review or simplify, or a particular method which you want us to simplify, do leave that on the comment section, and I will look into it and tell you what I think, okay? As requested by the audience, this was a video about breaker block, and this is where we will stop. So with any further questions, please keep them on the comment section or join the Telegram channel, where I'll be reviewing them and knowing, what saucy simplification I'll be bringing to the table, okay? So that'll be all for today. Thank you all for watching. Please hit the subscribe button and a comment below. Thank you.